Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror film and they discuss it. Today we're talking about Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, which was directed by Danny Steinman and came out in 1985. I'm your co host, Alec.
I'm Erik, and with us again, Matt Banever. Matt, welcome back to the show.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure to be in your company.
Yeah, dude, welcome back. And you were just telling me right before we started recording, so I wanted to jump into this. You literally just finished this movie like seconds ago, right?
Oh, like 7:01 was like the last scene.
It is 7:04, people. We're recording.
Oh my God, that's so funny. And this was your first time seeing it?
First time seeing it, yeah.
Last time?
Probably.
All right. So I'm actually really excited that you chose this one, Matt, because you love the Saw movies, and I think that like Saw is basically the Friday the 13th to the 2000s, what
Yeah.
Friday the 13th was to the 80s. So Erik, I know you're a big fan of this franchise, right? This is in your top three like horror franchises.
I think that's fair to say.
All right, yeah, me too. So we're big fans of this. Matt, what is your like Friday the 13th experience?
So I am a fan, but like haven't seen them all. Like I'm a fan of Jason Voorhees. I like him as a concept. I do know like some of which like listening to you guys, but some of which just like watching other things that the movies are not top notch. I remember we watched like the first one some summer at like Dan Valenzano's house, and I was just like, oh, Jason's like not even in this. And
Right.
then I think I watched like one or two others, but I haven't really seen many of them. Like I weirdly have always wanted to watch Jason X, but I've never done it.
Oh, you'd love that.
I know I really want to see like all of these movies I want to see. It's so hard to like pull the trigger and just like put myself through it. But I am like a fan. Like even when they're not good, like this one was okay. And I'm still just like, all right, like you just see some people getting their shit rocked.
It's so funny that you're like, yeah, we watched that one at the beach, and it's like, oh, Jason isn't even in this one. And you're watching this one, you're like, oh, Jason isn't even in this one either.
Yeah. So I still have yet to see a Friday the 13th where Jason's in it.
Erik, what's the last time you remember seeing this one?
All right, I'm gonna say something kind of controversial, but I cannot even tell you the last time I've seen four. And this one, I don't remember ever watching it. This might be my first time.
Oh my God.
I don't. I remember seeing bits on TV. Okay, and I'm talking like Fright. Never watched it in its entirety. Is okay. Never watched it. I'm gonna just say that. Yeah. Boom.
And that's the thing. It's like so many of these movies blend together that you're like, I think I've seen this one.
No, dude. It's like maybe at like 4 in the morning. I'm like frightening. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Friday Fright Fest or whatever. I don't know.
Well, the thing that's funny about this is actually part two of a trilogy within this series. So
Oh,
if you
yeah.
saw part four, part five, and part six, that's the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. So this is like in the beginning. So Matt, you're watching this like who's this fucking kid in the
Yeah,
beginning?
Corey Feldman. But like they promote it like and also appearing in Corey Feldman. But that was it. Aside from some like VO stuff that happens when he's like die,
But
die.
Erik, you know that Tommy Jarvis is a character. But Matt, what did you
Yes.
think just seeing this random kid in the beginning?
Well, one, I was like, is that mouth from the Goonies?
Yeah,
And
it
it
is.
is. And yeah, I was just like, all right. It definitely did hit me like there's more going on here than I know.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's like a dream, but the end of part four is that character, which is Tommy Jarvis as a little kid, cutting Jason's head and leaving this mark on his head and then putting his head through the machete. So everybody's like, oh, he's dead. That's why this one's called The New Beginning, because they're like, we can't tell the audience that he's coming back. I mean, we literally killed him. Everybody knows he's dead. So this is supposed to be like a reboot, like a soft reboot, but they're like, hey, we'll bring that character over who killed Jason and we'll make it seem like he might be the new killer now, sort of thing. So that's kind of catching people up to speed from the fourth one to this one, I guess.
It is wild how popular these movies are that it's not more well known that Jason like comes and goes and like isn't like in all of them. Like you always just hear about Jason Voorhees, but then you watch what there's like 13 of these movies and he's in like seven of them.
Well, he's not in the first one. He's not in this one, and in the ninth one, it's like a body hopping one, so he's in it a little bit, but he's in every other one.
That's still a lot. That's 3 movies not to be in.
Yeah. Eric, I mean, does it remind you of Halloween at all? It's kind of like Michael Myers isn't in part three. He's not really in Halloween Ends.
That's so funny. That's exactly what I thought. This movie reminded me a lot of Halloween Ends, and we can get into it. And I hate that it's like he's like reborn in someone else kind of
Yeah.
thing. I think it's a cheap ass writing on a Denny's napkin when, after all these producers just had a cocaine binge in the 80s is my guess.
Well, Eric, it's even worse in Halloween because Michael Myers was alive and he was like on the top of his game in Halloween Kills, and then they're like, yeah, fuck it, we're going Corey now.
That was a reach, yeah.
This one, it's like at least Jason was killed in the previous one, so they're like, hey, who is this copycat killer? Like, there's a little bit of a reason for it in this one. So I think Halloween actually did a worse job, but
I disagree. I think Halloween did at least a better job by making it seem like the evil infected the town
yeah.
and like people couldn't get over the trauma. I thought that was better than this random spoiler paramedic that we saw in the beginning have like a moment and
Okay.
then that's it.
I need to ask you guys about this because I've seen this movie a few times, so I knew he was a paramedic, but like watching it now, it is so obvious that it's a paramedic. Did you guys get that at all, or were you surprised?
Not off the bat. I was like, he's gonna come around at the end, probably, these guys, because they definitely made that a thing. That's my take, but I didn't think he was the killer.
Did you, Matt?
It was heavy foreshadowing, and I got like accomplice vibes. Like
Okay.
he's doing something with Jason, like helping him out somehow. But yeah, it didn't dawn on me that it like wouldn't be Jason Voorhees.
When you guys, if you ever watch this movie again, which you probably won't, but if you ever do, I'm telling you, it's like the music, they like go close-ups on his face. There's even one scene where the sheriff's like, what the hell is going on around here? And all of a sudden the paramedic's like, are you talking to me? And he's like, no. And he like walks away. And it's just like little things like that. You're like, what the fuck's going on? Why are they doing
Yeah.
this?
Well, I did have the what the fuck's going on reaction.
Yeah, no, it's probably it's one of my least favorite of the series probably, but I would imagine in theaters having seen the one the previous year being like, "Oh wow, they killed Jason. Like what are they going to do?" I think that would be pretty interesting and probably a reason to see it, but the backlash from this movie is the same thing, Eric, with Halloween 3. People are like, "We want Jason." And they're like, "Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, God." So, they brought him back in the next one.
Yeah, I will say one thing that just on a horror topic, you always hear this stereotype of like the black person always dies first. I have yet to see a horror movie where the black person dies first.
Scream 2.
Okay, but is like that's the only one? Like
No,
every
yeah.
time I watch a movie, I like this little kid's like, yeah, my name's Reckless Randy or whatever. And I immediately was like, you are going to die horribly. Yeah, but then he like doesn't. I was like, oh, like when is this gonna happen? Then the weird brother who's just like living in that trailer park.
Oh, I love him, dude. That guy's from Return of the Living or yeah, Return of the Living Dead, Eric. Remember him?
Yeah, that was my favorite part. I was like, "Oh, this guy!
Yeah.
Look at this guy. He's got a nice voice. It's very enunciating and like he's good. Big fan."
Two really quick points. So on to you, Matt. Another stereotype of horror that people say all the time that's also just blatantly not true is that more women are killed in horror. It is like polar opposite. This guy does a breakdown of every horror movie, not just for the gender, but like at the end of the thing, he's like, here's the gender breakdown. It's almost always 2 to 1 for men
Yeah.
getting murdered. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And then Eric, really quick, you know the song that guy sings when he's in the toilet or whatever? It's like, "Ooh, baby, baby." You remember that part?
Yeah, when he's got diarrhea from the enchiladas.
Dude, somebody made like a remix of that song, and
No,
it's
I don't. I was like, I thought you were gonna ask me what the song is. I was like, I have no idea what he's
Yeah,
saying.
no, it
exactly.
was improv. Like I can't wait to tell you guys about the director a little bit, but that scene was improv. The song was improv, and then somebody took the song and made it into like a disco remix. And it's kind of good, but
I mean, I know what my ringtone is now. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to tell you guys a little bit behind the scenes. The director was a porn director. That's where he got started.
Adds up. Really, I think there's like what it was. There's 3 or 4 nude scenes, at least 2 sex
Dude,
scenes.
The one of the girl on the picnic, like whatever blanket or whatever,
Yeah.
that's like literally a porno.
Yeah, it was just on her. It was
Yeah.
like trees, boobs, trees, boobs.
I have to watch like most of these movies by myself. Like I can be, hey, you want to watch this one with me? So like it's
Yeah.
no, there's no in between. It's like I got to go watch this movie. You can't be in the room.
Well, to add more to it, so he was a porn director is how he got his start. And then apparently the editor was saying that like everybody was on cocaine. The actors, the director, the crew, just like everybody. And the director was on cocaine so much that he was just kind of like, I don't care. Like you guys can just make up lines, like have fun, do whatever you want.
The writer was absolutely like, and then what we're gonna do is he's gonna have these enchiladas, right? And his brother's gonna be there, and his girlfriend, and then the blonde's gonna be there. It's gonna be like a girlfriend, and he gets diarrhea. Oh,
Yep.
fucking love it. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's pretty much what because you remember the scene of the two like greaser guys or whatever, and they're just like, I'm gonna go take a crap in the woods, like crap up your ass, like all that stuff. That
Yeah.
was all improvised. Like there was no there was no script.
There were some really hilarious lines. Like that weird mom that was like
Oh.
wrecking that chicken, and she was like, "Shut up, you fucking dildo, and eat your slop."
That lady was amazing, dude.
That
She's like, I
lady
got a
was
bomb on me. I gotta fucking kill all you.
geez Louise, this lady's drinking moonshine at like 6 in the morning.
she just like goes to this like insane asylum and was like, I'm gonna kill all of you. Like, what?
I know, like you look at the way they like address mental health in 1985, like the cuckoo been down the road. It's like where all the
Yeah,
crazies are. Like,
you're one of the crazy.
And can we talk about how poorly run this mental asylum is? Can we talk about this?
Yeah, the honor system.
Yeah, with a bunch of like people that killed people, and like they're just like roaming free like chickens, like and it's just like and there's this one leader, he's like the cult leader. He's like, "Hi everyone, we're gonna have breakfast," and like there's no like
Yeah.
security to like if someone loses it.
Even the guy like kills the other one with the axe, and it's like there's no security
Oh, I can't.
measures.
And then he's just like, I can't believe this happened.
Right. They're just like another day at the office. Like,
Ugh.
so Matt, explain that scene where that guy gets killed because that's like what kicks the movie off, but it's fucking crazy.
It's
yeah.
insane.
Well, like this guy comes out of this house raging this candy,
Chocolate all over his face.
beasting, beasting this candy bar. Like, no, like it literally looks like he was like using it as chapstick. Like it's all
Ew.
over him. And he's just like coming out, causing a ruckus, like goes up to these girls. He's just like he sounds so stupid. He's just like all talking to them. And then out of nowhere, there's this guy just going to town with an axe on a log. And the guy with the candy just goes up to him and he's just like berating him randomly. And the guy's just like, leave me alone, guy. And the guy's like eating the candy more and more aggressively. And then, like, basically out of nowhere, the guy with the candy just turns around and the guy with the axe just like brutally murders him.
Well, it's like he finally got him to leave too.
Yeah, exactly. The guy's like walking away.
Finally, and he's like, I just if he ever comes up to me again, like he loses it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like five axe swings to the back.
No,
Like,
more. You see the body? He literally, it looked like 20 times.
it was like five on camera, and then they show the body, and it looked like 32 like stabs to the back with the axe, and they're just like it. Like the girls are like doing laundry in the corner, and they're
Screaming.
just like, "Whoa, another inmate just or not inmate? I don't even know what you call him. Another patient just murders another one with an axe."
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, and that's what kicks off the movie. So this guy Joey gets killed, the guy gets arrested who kills him, and then we find out later that the paramedic is actually his father, which is a complete contradiction to what Joey says. He's like, "Yeah, I've been in and out of orphanages my whole life and like, I
Yeah.
don't know where my parents are." It's like your dad's in the same town that you are. He's a paramedic and he keeps a picture of you at this age in his wallet. How did he get that picture? And for some reason doesn't want to ever reach out to you as a father to a son. So he gets revenge by killing everybody aside from the guy who kills his son.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
fucking
so
crazy.
confused. Yeah, so that was this. In what genetically way is that his son too?
Yeah.
why didn't he ever reach out to his son? His son was like, I'm living in this place. I don't know where my family is. And his dad's like, I'm just going to be a paramedic in the town, in this small town, and keep an eye on him.
But his son was the kid killed with the axe, who's like,
Yeah.
he's like 280, eating chocolate, does not look like his dad at all.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know. Something about the genetics didn't add up.
yeah. So that seems absolutely nuts. But one thing I wanted to ask you, Matt, specifically, like being a fan of Saw, and year after year they would release another movie, and kind of like the story's good, like it intertwines throughout the entire series, and they kind of up the gore in every one. This
Yeah.
one does not have really gore in it. If you watch it, it's like every time somebody gets killed, it like flashes right before they actually hit them. You never see an axe like hit a body or like anything. So how do you think that like compares? I mean, how crazy it got in 20 years.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Megan Thee Stallion, and she has this awesome thing where she says that she goes human centipede mode. And the way she describes that is that in horror, they have to keep upping the ante. And like Human Centipede was like kind of like the natural progression of the horror genre.
Oh,
Like it just keeps getting wilder and wilder and wilder. And that her career is kind of like mirroring that. Like all these rappers are just getting more and more intense, and that she's trying to just up the ante with what she brings to the table. And it's funny when you look at these movies, like definitely the killings in this movie, I was like, all right, yeah, some of them are brutal, but yeah, it was like flash of lightning, knife, then body. And it was like not really the whole thing. But I thought that that was like hearing this whole backstory about how it wasn't Jason, maybe that was I mean, also the director was like ripping rails the whole time. Well, so maybe he didn't even think about this, but like maybe the artistic view is like, we're not going to show all the killings because it's not really Jason. But
uh,
there were a couple that I was like, that was kind of wild. Like even the girl with the huge boobs who got killed on the picnic, like straight up hedge clippers through the eyes, and then he closes them. I was like, that was pretty graphic, but they don't show it.
right.
They just show her like the weird slit in the eyes afterwards. But then the boyfriend gets killed with like the belt on the eyes
Mm-hmm.
again. But again, you don't see the kill, and you don't see Jason at all. You just see his hands. So there were a lot of like weird kind of takes on this that it definitely felt like kind of a regress of like what this genre is all about.
Well, it's interesting. Back in the 80s, the MPAA would just butcher these movies. So, like, they were trying to do gore and they would shoot the scene. So, if you get like the DVD or whatever, they'll have the deleted footage and it's much more graphic. But all of these movies and the Halloweens and the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the MPAA would just butcher them.
Yeah.
So, they were fine with nudity because this one is basically a softcore porno, but they're not okay with violence. It's weird.
The waitress, where she just straight up is like, look at these.
Yeah.
What did she say? Like, it's showtime. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what was the point of that scene?
she's closing a restaurant and no one else is around. Like, who does? Like, this is definitely written by like Wall Street bros in the 80s.
No, it's insane. I will say though, I do like the ending. I think like after, I mean, it's the same thing. There's a final girl, there's Reggie, and then there's Tommy Jarvis, who's gone for the last like third of the movie. So it can be like, is it Tommy? Is he the killer? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But the end, we go to this barn, it's pouring rain, classic Friday 13th ending. I don't know. I liked the whole like barn fight. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I liked the barn fight. I don't think that the stakes were clear. Like when they're going up into that second level, it was kind of like, well, what's the game plan here? Like,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you just gonna wait it out? Like it didn't, I didn't get the feeling of like, oh my God, how are they gonna get out of this? It just felt like, are they just gonna stay up there? So that was probably more of like an editing critique, but I did like the final fight up there. I thought that the girl was really good, and she totally redeemed herself after that pitiful run through the mud like 10 minutes earlier. She just like wouldn't stand up.
Like, come
That
on,
that
lady.
was that was hard to watch. But I didn't like how small Jason was in this, but I did like that he wasn't super slow.
Yeah. No, he definitely yeah, I mean because he's a younger guy. I mean, he's a medic.
Yeah.
He's not living in the woods his whole life, so it's probably a little more agile.
What is like on a slight question, what is your favorite rendition of Jason?
Oh, part 7 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a zombie in that one. You get to see because in part 6 he gets brought back from the dead, so he's a zombie in that from part 6 onward. Because from part 2, 3, and 4, he's just like a guy, like a crazy guy in the woods, and then they kill him. This one happens. Then 6, 7, 8, and 9. At 6, 7, and 8, he's a zombie. 9, his soul gets taken out and transported a bunch of people, and then in 10, he's like Uber Jason in the future and gets cloned or whatever.
Yeah. I think physically my favorite was that 2010 or whatever.
The remake, yeah, yeah,
I
Yeah.
like that remake. I thought it was pretty good.
yeah. It's good.
Yeah, I think that that was my favorite. He was huge in that movie. He was
Yeah.
absolutely menacing, and he like moved so fast, like in that opening scene where he's like wrecking people. So that to me is always like what I think of when I think of Jason, like that fast moving, just maniac, just wrecking people.
Yeah, I think that was the perfect Jason that's been in our like mind. And
Yeah,
Matt, you just nailed it. Like fast moving, powerful. Like the look of that was perfect too. Alec, I'd have to agree with you. I besides the first one, which isn't Jason, I enjoy 7. I just enjoy it as a watch in general.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's called Carrie versus Jason. That's like what they're dubbing it because it's like a girl with psychic powers that gets to fight Jason.
Plus, we're in love with Lar Park Lincoln. Like that's our like crush.
Yeah,
Alex
she's
especially.
great. I love her. Yeah. So really quick, I don't know if you guys, well, Matt, you definitely won't, but Eric, you might get this. So one thing that I think they dropped the ball on is in part 2, the final girl, she's this blonde woman, I can't remember her name, but her like character trait is that she's a therapist, and at the end of the movie, she uses like reverse psychology on Jason to pretend she's the mother to get Jason to do what she wants to do, and she survives. I was like, what are they doing? They now have a like I don't know if it's like a rehabilitation center, whatever this is, in Crystal Lake now in the town, and the woman is blonde who works at the center. I'm like, why didn't they bring that character back? Like that was so dumb to not have her character, I don't know, return.
In 7. In 7?
No, in this one, and because the lead woman in this one is a blonde woman that works at a rehabilitation center, and
Oh.
the lead woman from part 2 is a blonde woman who's a therapist, who's like a college grad therapist, and it's like, oh, this would have been the logical progression for her job, and she gets to fight Jason again, but they didn't do that. I was like, that was fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a long stretch in this movie where I was like, this just feels like a random movie that Jason just happens to be in.
Yeah.
It did not feel like a Jason movie.
Yeah, I mean, people definitely criticize this one, especially because it's not actually Jason. A couple things I just want to bring up though that made me absolutely laugh. I love when that guy comes in to breakfast and he's got the mask on that Tommy makes, and he's like, "Take a joke, buddy," and he just flips him over the table and
Yeah,
like
that
smashes
was
him.
again, there was no like, all right, we're going into lockdown. Like
Right.
that's what would happen at a normal facility. They'd be like, oh, well, they're out of control. We got to up security, but they were just like, classic breakfast at the nut
They're
house.
like, Tommy, listen, you lost your privileges, brother. It's okay. It's like, the other thing is, dude, Reggie's scream at the
Oh
end.
yeah.
Oh my God. That could like break glass, dude.
Yeah, it was so high. But wait, no, the weird guy on the motorcycle who's just whipping around for 8 minutes, like he hurt me, mama. Just like, what was that scene? Why was it so long?
It was like Randy Quaid in Christmas Vacation. That's all I thought of.
That's exactly what I was thinking also.
Yeah, I think that scene's hilarious. Do you guys have any other funny moments from this movie? Because there's one, I'll think of it.
Yeah, I mean the best moment, and I had the subtitles on, was where the mom was just like, "You fucking dildo, eat your slop," and you're just like seeing that like string of words
Text.
on the screen was so ridiculous.
You mentioned it, Alec, but like the guy with the car, he's fixing his car. He's also singing a random song too at one point when he's like, I'm gonna go take a crap. Like he's just like, oh God, this is such a shitty movie. Like I
Yeah,
laughed. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go take like it could have been like I'm gonna go take a whiz or something, but it's like I'm gonna take a poop. It's like what?
In the woods, yeah.
No.
yeah, and then like even after the picnic sex scene, which lasted like 2 seconds, Like, poor guy. And then he's like, I'm gonna go wash up in the lake. Like he's just like putting his
Ugh.
beef in the water. Just like what, dude? You're a
Oh,
maniac.
All right, I got
yeah.
some by the numbers real quick, Alex. So I'm just gonna do 1, 4, and 5, so we don't have to do all 5 of them, but I have a point. Friday the 13th, the original came out in 1980. It's an hour and 35 minutes long. It was only $550,000 for a budget, and it made 60 million. That's like Amazon money back then.
Jesus.
Yeah, 66% on Rotten Tomatoes as a critic score, 60 as a Rotten audience score. I just want to say the budgets for 2 was 1.25 and the budget for 3 was 2.2. So they were like, let's up the budget barely, but those movies still made a ton of money. Part
Yeah.
4, the one right before this, was an hour and 31 minutes. It came out in 1984. So in 4 years, they've already pumped out one a year. The budget was 1.8 million. The box office, 33 million. Jeez Louise. These Wall Street bros doing coke must love it. 24% on Rotten Tomatoes, 51 audience Rotten Tomatoes. And then this one, A New Beginning, came out in 1985, less than a year after, for an hour and 32 minutes. Budget was 2.2 million and it still made 21 million. This movie does not deserve to make
Oh,
10 times its budget.
oh my God.
17% Rotten Tomatoes, 26% audience. I feel like this was like, I think we're really starting to lose some steam here with the audience.
Yeah. Did they I don't know if you guys know this, but like was there like a plan, or are they just kind of making them as they go?
Oh no, there was no plan.
Yeah.
You think within a year of putting out a whole movie, there was like a full fleshed out plan, Matt?
No, 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 no. This was all of these movies back in the 80s, like Nightmare on Elm Street. There was like Saw, they learned, I think, from these movies, be like, okay, we need to have characters that carry on. We need to have a story that like keeps the people interested. Because the only thing that keeps people interested in these movies is Jason. That's really
Right.
it. All the characters get killed off every fucking episode or the
Right.
movie. So I remember the part that made me laugh though. That random ass like homeless guy that just stumbles onto that hillbilly house and he's just like, I need work or I need food and work or whatever. And then he just gets killed. I'm like, who is this guy? Who the
Yeah.
hell is this guy?
He's got his SAG card. He's just like, hell yeah.
I know he didn't have to do anything. He's like, I was actually just like, a technician on the set. And then they just asked me if I could do this really quick.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. Does it make you want to watch the sixth one?
It actually does. Now knowing that there is that this is the middle of a trilogy does make me want to watch the whole trilogy.
Mm, yeah.
Oh, this is so much more than a trilogy, Matt.
Well, no, no,
This,
no.
this is so much. Oh, you mean like the Corey Feldman trilogy? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is like the Thorn trilogy of the Halloween series, the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one before this is much better, and the one after this is much better too.
All right. Well, of course we fucking picked this one.
Yeah, I know. Well, Eric, what about you? I mean, how do you feel out of the Friday the 13th franchise?
I feel like I want to go back and at least see 4 again. Its final chapter, right? With Corey Feldman.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet.
Why do we do this so out of order? Like we should.
Oh, it's so out of order. Dude, we've got 4, 8.
Is 4 on this wheel?
No, it's not. So we've
What
got
are we doing?
we've got 4 and 8 left. We've done all of the
That
other
makes
ones.
no sense. Like why?
Well, it'll make sense when I release like a 5-hour episode with all of them, but
5-hour episode.
It's like a Joe Rogan episode of just this.
Just shitting on these movies.
But Eric, yeah, how do you feel though? I mean, of the Friday 13th. I mean, where does this fall on your radar?
Out of the ones I've seen, it has to be bottom right now.
That's wild.
5, this is so bad. Jason X to me is more fun and at least original and creative than this.
Oh, X is better.
Yeah.
What I keep hearing is that New York is like the worst one.
Yeah, Jason Takes Manhattan. Well, because 80% of it is them getting to Manhattan. It's them on a boat the whole time.
Jason Takes Manhattan sounds like Baby's Day Out. It's like it's just a terrible name.
He's just shopping. He's just maxing out his credit
Like
card.
a Mary Kate and Ashley movie. Like,
Getting makeovers. It's like worms falling out of his eyes.
Jason's winning London.
The Sex and the City theme song just playing as he walks down the street.
He's on the back of a Vespa, just some hot guy is just driving him through.
All right. Well, I think we've said all we need to say about this film. What do you guys think?
I don't need to talk about this one ever again.
Well, Matt, dude, thank you so much for coming back on, man. Appreciate it.
Gentlemen, it is always a pleasure to talk these top-notch movies with you.
Oh, and really quick, we never do this, dude. Do you want to talk about Bard at all?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I have my own company called Bard's Clothing. I'm a custom clothier. I'm looking to tell your story with American-made clothing. All of my garments, whether clothing or shirts, I do, it's all gender inclusive. Everything is made in New York. And I also I've partnered with a textile mill, which is located in Connecticut. And I have a showroom in Branford. I do all types of custom clothing, but I can also offer a American made, grown and sewn garment.
Hell yeah. No, it's amazing stuff. I've been to your showroom and it's amazing, dude. The fabrics are such high quality. Matt takes such good care of people. So
Thank you,
definitely
sir.
check it out.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Erik. Well, why don't you spin the wheel?
All right. Spinning. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh no. Leprechaun 2.
Oh man, we're getting that one in early. Okay. All right, cool.
That's
Yeah.
okay. It's like it's kind of when St. Patrick's Day. It's
17th.
all right. So people have a couple weeks to listen to it. Have fun.
Okay, yeah.
Is that up in the hood?
No, that's the
What's
fourth
that?
one. No, that's a fifth one.
What's this one called? Just 2?
This one's just 2. Yeah. Into Hood and Into Hood Part 2 are 5 and 6. Yeah.
They should have gave it the leprechauns treatment, like plural, like a bunch of little leprechauns. That's my take. Sorry, we'll save it.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for listening into our discussion on Friday the 13th, Part 5, and we'll see you all next week with Leprechaun 2.
Leprechaun 2. Woo!